Okay, students, this video is your introductory video. It's one of the first ones that you will get. And this one we're going to just simply take a look at Blackboard. For those of you who maybe are not real familiar with it, we'll look at how to use Blackboard. Switch over here to the screen. Now you should be looking at what I'm looking at. And so let's bring up here the screen. Okay, so here now you're seeing the student preview. This is what you should see when you look at it. This is the student preview. And so I want to show you first of all that there's only a few of these tabs we'll be using. The Start Here tab is where I'm at right now, which is the tab that lets you see some of the basic introductory kind of information, and this is where you find the syllabus as well that we'll look at here in a minute separately. So the Start Here is where you want to go first. You'll see this welcome message from me. You'll be getting this same welcome message in the email that you first get from me. It's either this same one or the next one, or one that you'll be getting right away at the beginning of the semester. So this will tell you all the stuff that you need to look at right away, as well as, of course, watching these videos. This page, this Start Here page, has the syllabus, and it has some other policies and stuff that you may want to take a look at. They might be helpful to you. You might just kind of glance through some of them to see if any of them are helpful to you. And then at the bottom it has your next steps, which is to go to the discussion board by clicking on the discussion link in the menu. On the left, read the faculty expectations. Once you've read the expectations, post a message stating that you have read them and accept them. And then that will, of course, be one of your very first discussions as well. Now that's one that you do not necessarily have to go in and post on any of your comments or on any of your peers' comments. You don't have to talk to your peers on that one. But later on you will have to when we get to the actual discussion journals. So first or second week you'll have one of those discussions that's official for a grade. Okay, so that's the first thing that you can take a look at. Home is just where you automatically land when you first come in here, and it has your announcements and stuff like that, most of which you don't need to worry too much about. You definitely want to go in here though now and then and check maybe once a day and check to see if there's any announcements from me. Now most the announcements that I post will come to you by email as well, but just in case that there's some kind of a situation where maybe for some weird reason the emails didn't go out, it might not hurt to just check this announcements as well now and then, maybe once a day or something. Okay, Teams meeting, you can ignore that. Start Here, we just talked about. Announcements is the separate place where you can actually go in and see just the announcements by themselves. Again, I've only posted one in there, and that was back on like January 22nd, because people were already going in here and doing stuff, which was no big deal. What they did do was get started on the discussion stuff, which was no big deal. You just didn't want to go trying to do too much because it really wasn't even set up yet. Okay, so the course content. This is where you're going to find pretty much everything. Course content is where you will find everything related to the class. It's where you'll find the major projects and information about how to do the projects. Like for the first one is your narrative. It'll even have the place where you'll submit the narrative when you're ready to submit it as an assignment, and all that stuff will be under course content. Discussions is where you'll go to do just what it sounds like, the discussions, right? And so this is the first one where you're supposed to read and tell whether or not, make sure that you have read them and note that you have. As you can see here, 8 people have already done so that's great. 2 people have put questions up for Ask Your Instructor. I answered one of them, but I didn't know there was another one, so I'll probably do that here in a second and answer that one. That's a good place to check now and then too, just to see if somebody's had a question that maybe that I've answered that would help you as well. So that might be a good place to go now and then, maybe once a day or once every couple days or whatever, to see if any questions have been answered or asked and answered. The introduction question here is just where you're going to go in and just introduce yourself a little bit. This will be the first one where it'll be compliments, feedback, and whatever. Talk to each other a little bit about what you have in common, maybe, and that kind of stuff. So that would be the first one where I will expect to see some discussion back and forth between you and others. And that's the discussion. Journals we will not use. Course messaging we will not use. Email you can use. Email is a way for you to email me or everybody in the class or whatever That's a way we can email each other. I may at times use this, but email, you can do that, and you can go in and you can click on select users, and once you're in there select users, you can pick who you want to write to. You know, so if you and somebody have been talking about, or you like something somebody said or whatever, and you wanted to get in touch with them and maybe see what you could do to help each other more in depth or whatever, for whatever reason, you can do that through that. Okay, so that's the email, and then of course you can check your grades. The other thing that you might be able to use here is the Blackboard help, in case you're very new to Blackboard and need a little bit of help understanding it more in depth than what I'm going to go over. I know tutoring.com should work. That's another one that you can use. Yeah, see, this is tutoring.com. You go in here and you can actually get a tutor to help you one-on-one, or you can submit your paper and have them go through it and give you feedback on it. Now, I don't know, like I said, I don't know about this brain fuse. So maybe it's just not working anymore. So if it doesn't work, don't worry about it. Just use tutor.com. But better yet, there is the option of using the tutors that are actually in the school, the school tutors here at Pierpont. And I am one of those tutors. So I will talk a little bit about that when I get to discussing when I get to the syllabus. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So just to make note, just to remind you, really the only places you're going to be looking at anything on here is going to be the start here, where you will see your syllabus, the course content, where you will see everything else that you need to see as far as assignments and everything. This we'll talk about in a separate video, where you have to use Inquisitive. You'll hear more about that in a separate video. All of the video guides that you will receive will be on this under video guides, so all of those are there waiting to come out for you, and probably more than this. So those will be coming out later, and that's all under course content. Discussions you will use, and emails you might use. Check your grades here, and then tutor.com you might use to get some feedback on your work. And as always, make sure you ask if you have any questions, please.